A few months ago, I made a decision to rebuild things that once used to feel normal to me. Front splits, pancakes, a solid bridge, handstand push-ups, and real one-arm lockout strength. But this was never just about ticking skills off a list. It was really about figuring out what is still there and what disappeared over time. So in this rebuild series, I'm not just showing you what I'm doing to get them back, but much more importantly, how you can do the same, even if you feel stiff, weak, or far away from where you once were. Or of course, if you've never been there but you want to go there. In episode 1, we checked the status quo, and boy was I surprised. Not only had I lost quite a bit of strength, I also had become much less flexible than I expected. And if you wanna see how that went, simply click up there and this will take you to the first episode. But now in this episode, I'll show you how I trained over the last 3 months. The mistakes I made, the setbacks I had to work through, and where I actually stand right now. And I can honestly say this, I'm very happy how far I've come. But to see what I mean, you will want to stick around until the end.
That was actually pretty good.
Also, if you want to follow along more closely, I've put together a free training program that reflects exactly the ideas behind this rebuild. You can download it directly through the link in the description below. It's completely free. Without any further ado, welcome to I Lost My Flexibility and Strength, Now I Want It Back, episode 2. Phase 1. Magic dwells in each beginning. We all know how it goes, right? You start a new project and you are filled with passion. You have all the motivation to simply do the thing. And exactly the same thing happened to me at the start of this rebuilding journey. It was also still October, so we had nice and sunny days. I could practice outside, which is also helpful. And yeah, the sessions were super nice. I dedicated about an hour of training before every acrobatic practice session that I had to either some of the mobility work or some of the strength work. I would also do strength work after the sessions, but mostly it was focused before my main practice. Of course, I also had days where I would simply focus on the mobility and strength work and didn't do acrobatics, and I could see improvements quite quickly, especially in the positions that felt most comfortable to me. The pancake, for example. It's a position that I truly like. The splits and the bridge was a struggle, but I kind of grinded through it. And in the background here, you can see all of the tasks that I kind of did in order to tackle the journey. Phase 2. Injuries, plateaus, and setbacks. After a great initial start to the project, I did face some difficulties along the months. First off, I was traveling to Tenerife in order to teach a workshop there, and then this time I didn't really focus on the flexibility and strength practice because I had other things to do. Then afterwards, some nibbling pains came along, so I've been dealing with some lower back issues for a couple months, and of course, when dealing with that, you don't want to do bridges, right? It simply is not that pleasant. So I kind of stopped here. Then an old injury in my hamstring, the right hamstring, came back. So my front splits were not that pleasant. So I didn't practice fully here. Then I also, in December and January, I did had a bit of a rough time with the darkness and the cold of the winter here in Germany. So the whole work, even the strength work, was kind of a bit on ice. I did practice, but not fully. But honestly, this is simply the reality of a project like this. There are times where you make progress, and there's times where you don't. And this is okay. The most important thing is to don't fight it. You are where you are. And if you're injured, you need to take it more easy. So that's already a great learning. But as you will see in the next phase, I did eventually come out of it. Phase 3. Putting in the work. It always feels so nice when you come back to practice after these little rests, after plateaus and setbacks. So after the pain in my back and then also my neck and shoulders disappeared, I went back to practice. Also, I started some bouldering again, which is always super helpful for upper body strength development. I could directly feel it in my handstand push-ups and most importantly in my pulling strength. Now, I had some very nice sessions and could finally break through again in the bridge and the split work, which feels super nice. And yeah, basically I kept going for a couple weeks here, and this brings me to today. Where am I today? How much progress did I make in the end? I can already say quite a bit. But before we look at that, let's first take a deep look in what exactly did I do and how did I structure my training. If you thought I would give you the exact number of repetitions and sets and the exact order of exercises, I do have to disappoint, because this is simply not who I am, and also this practice is not that important to me. I want to do it, but it's not a huge priority. So I simply played around with the major players. My goals were the pancake, the split, bridge, handstand push-up and the one-arm chin. And there are so many different exercises to do for all of these different skills. I tried to focus on about 2 or 3 exercises per skill and would simply rotate through all of these. The exact number of repetitions and sets I can also not give because I simply didn't count it. I simply made sure to get enough, and for me getting enough is a feeling of can I still go further? I maybe will do one more set, or do I hit my plateau for the day? Then I will simply let it be. In the strength work, I would simply also test it out. Do I feel strong today? No? Then I'll maybe do some more lighter things, and if I do have the strength, I will go for the full skill. Another thing I want to mention is that I've been playing with a lot of different modalities. Sometimes I would, for example, just hold the top of this one arm lockout position, no movements. Other times I would focus on lowering down as slow as I can, even with the help of the other hand. In the mobility work, it's the same thing. Sometimes it would be the sliding actions right here. Other times it's more active mobility, active range. Sometimes it's really just being statically in a position. Exact sets and reps, not too important, because I do have developed a feeling of how much do I need to do. In the end, I've been training for over 15 years. Now, if you are asking yourself, is this something I would recommend for you? Definitely not at the start. This is also why I've included in the video description this free PDF, which you can check out and download and use as a template to practice. At first, it really makes sense to have a clear structure, so you know what to do and when to do what. And after some time, you can try to open it up and develop this more auto-regulative way of practicing, which I'm doing right now. Let's move on to the part that we've all been waiting for. Where am I right now? So after a little bit of warming up, I started to go into the first skill of the session, or the testing, the pancake position. And at first, with no warm-up, so simply testing how my pancake is looking in a cold state. And already here, compared to 4 months ago, I can see some nice improvements. So as soon as I move here, I really can feel a lot of space in my hip. Compared to 3 months ago, it really feels very different. Sometimes I even manage now to get my chest all the way to the floor, still not my belly. So let's try to push it and see how far I can go. I think at my strongest in the pancake, I was able to go down just a little bit deeper, but I'm absolutely thrilled with the progress here and that I can enter or access this position in a rather cold position. Really great work. Let's now move on to the front split, a position that compared to the pancake is not so easy for me. So in a cold state, it's quite okay, maybe a little bit better than 4 months ago. On this side especially, as you can also see later, it's much better. Right, let's start with the bad side when doing my front splits. Something very interesting is that an injury from 6 years ago in my hamstring here in that right leg is still bothering me. So going super low in this one is quite tough, but let's see it. I always like to start in this active range, kind of like activate my muscles here and then slowly start to sink deeper into the position, go onto my arch and try to push it. Yeah, I really can feel that pinch right here, so I don't even want to push it deeper, but this is kind of where I am on this side, and for this old injury I'm also quite happy here with the progress. Now on the other side I really feel big improvements. No injuries here, so I really feel comfortable pushing it. Also here there's activation before sliding down, and then as you can see right now I'm really able to go down much deeper. Always a struggle to square my hips, sometimes they like to open up, which makes going down, as you can see, much easier, but as soon as I square them it's a different story. I'm still far from the full split, but definitely I made a lot of progress, and this position feels so much nicer on this side. It's not a sharp pain, so happy with the progress here. Next up we go into the bridge, and for this one I really have to say that the back issues I have been facing over the last couple months, nothing dramatic, but still so much that you don't really want to go into this extended state of your spine, have not been too helpful. But still, I managed to get very nice sessions in, and the cool thing now is that I can open up my shoulders much nicer and straighten out my arms again in a much better way. As you can see here, not fully straight, but it is getting there, and the bridge already feels much better and I can go deeper. Yeah, so going into a bridge now doesn't feel excruciating. It doesn't feel like a torture position, but it feels smooth again. Not where I was a couple years back, but still smooth enough that I really look forward to enter a bridge position, and that is a very nice progress. Before continuing to the strength work, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so. This will ensure that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. So one thing with the handstand push-up is that it's really a skill that depends on the physical state of the day. How have you slept? How do you feel? What did you do to activate, right? So I noticed that because I'm bouldering currently a little bit more, after a boulder session my handstand push-ups really are the strongest. I'm fully activated, and right now after the mobility work I am not. So it is quite expected that I don't feel too activated, too stiff right now. I will give the handstand push-up tomorrow when I go bouldering another try and see how my real state is, but as you can see right now I'm quite wobbly, I don't feel so strong. And I guess the same thing will be also true for the one arm lockout. This clip here was taken directly after the tries in the dojo from before, and I did it because the floor here is much harder, which is very helpful. Now the next day in the boulder gym, as I have predicted, it was much better than before. My body was just activated nicely, I was feeling strong, and I've slept better. All of these things that really matter when it comes to a complex skill like the handstand push-up. Some repetitions were cleaner than the others. Sometimes I even tried to go for a second rep, but on this session I think I managed to go for about 6 or 7 single repetitions. So some progress has been made here as well. And now we continue with one of the hardest skills, the one arm lockout. 3 months ago, when I tested my one arm chin up hold ability, I was just able to, for maybe 2 seconds, hold this position right here. Right arm, my stronger arm, much stronger than the left, and I think some things changed here as well. The top hold feels okay, the way down feels very strenuous on especially my biceps. So a repetition like this would not be a smart choice to simply train, because it's way too much load. So something reduced, like carrying myself with the toes on the floor or using the other hand, is a much better thing. But in order to test it, I really need to see how far I've gotten, and I'm very happy with this. On this side, as you can see, I'm just barely able to hold myself up there, so much weaker on that arm. But still, it's an improvement. I was not able to do this 3 months ago. I feel much more strong even on this side. Let's give it a try at about 90 degrees and see how far I can go here. I definitely noticed a big improvement, especially in the time that I can hold this 90-degree hang. A couple seconds added to what have been possible only 4 months later. So that feels very nice. I will put in more work and hope to get at least 10 seconds of hanging in here. And then I went for a 15 repetition max pull-up, also something that I wanted to improve, and I hope to ramp it up to 20 when the summer comes. And there you go. This is where I am now with my mobility and calisthenics project. I don't have the intention to stop. Quite the opposite. I will keep going. I will try to see how far I can push these skills. Most importantly now to notice is those skills actually don't mean too much to me. I don't need the full splits or a full bridge, not even for my acrobatics. I don't need the strength of a one-arm pull-up, nor the strength of a handstand push-up. So why am I practicing these? Well, number one, it is very fun. It helps me to push forward. It helps me to build discipline, which right now, where I am, it is quite helpful. So there is still a lot of benefit to practicing something which is not that useful actually to you. If you're wondering if you need these skills in your life, in your practice, the answer most likely is no, you don't. You can have a beautiful acrobatics, strength, mobility, life practice without any of those skills. But if you feel a strong pull towards them, it makes sense to tackle them. So again, reminding you of my free program. Check it out and download it for free. And this is it for this one. There will be another episode in a couple of months showing again my process and progress, and also giving you very clear directions how to push forward in your mobility and strength practice. Leave a comment in the comment section for any question. Also remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.